Good evening, everybody. This is Michael D. sitting behind the mic again with another episode. Okay? And tonight's topic is, are they opening schools up way too soon? Ron, you have a take on that?
Yeah, I do. I believe that we'll have to wait until September to see how that's going. And I've heard there's a new strain of this virus that's even worse than the COVID-19 that we've been dealing with. But I'm of the opinion that if this 6-week part thing works and the masks work and everything, why not let the kids come back to school like in shifts? You know, 1/4 at one time, another fourth at another time, another fourth. But especially to help those kids that do not have access to computers, which is about a quarter of all students do not have access to computers, and they're learning nothing while they're out of school. And there's another thing, too. While they're out of school, it's been proven in some cities that these kids are hanging around like in gangs. Not really gangs, but, you know, just hanging around together. And they can hang around together in school only under the instruction of a teacher that says, stay 6 feet apart, wear your mask, you know. And here's what you're going to learn. They put them on the computers, or they teach them from the front of the class, or whatever. And that can be done. I think every student can experience school in shifts. Maybe shorter school hours, you know, like 3 hours a day and in shifts and stuff like that. But whatever happens, you know. What's your thought on that, Carol?
Okay, I can tell you I've worked in hospitals and I've worked in school programs. I have seen school information that's been able to be learned and passed to the children, and I've seen it work very well. Way before we had computers and the technology that we have today, there are a lot of options here. We don't have to rely on computers per se. We can still work with these children in the home. And at this point, we just have a lot of things being thrown at us at once. There's new development with the virus that seems to be a complication of the virus with any effect of these children, and we don't even know the incidence yet. We haven't put children together to really know that. We need to do further studies. We need to see what way it is that we prevent it, what's causing it, what it is even to begin with. We don't have any answers to any of these things. We can't just throw them like they are right now into the school and see what happens and then go from there, because we actually will lose lives, and we can't take that chance. We need to move more slowly, and also we have to pay attention to the second wave of the virus, which is being very strongly predicted and has already been seen in other locations that had the virus earlier. It's already happening that way, so it's likely that we will be affected that way. And if that happens, we will have a very much so more difficult circumstance that we have on our hands than we even can imagine. So right now, we need to take things more slowly.
Okay, Mike?
I agree with you. We need to take things slow, not open schools, more testing. I agree wholeheartedly with that one. And the kids can be homeschooled by their parents, as they're doing right now. There's still nothing wrong with that. But as Ron's statement is, it's true they could, if they cut the class down to, say, instead of 30, they could have 10 kids in the classroom still being taught. They could do this and cut the hours down. Instead of 6 hours a day, they would go to 2.5 hours a day. Ron?
Hey, Carol.
Oh, I like the idea that we're going to take things slowly and see, and try to be as intelligent as we can when we're making our decisions. We don't want to find out after the fact. We want to do things intelligently with as much information as we can have available to use. Making our decisions, we have to have the protocols that we need to make things work as well as they can possibly work when we do get there. We need to see what's going to be hitting us at the time that we will be doing this, if we do it. Before we move that quickly forward, we need to really know what it is that we're doing before we do it. So, yes, we need to put a hold on it and just take it really slow, step by step, before we move in any direction forward.
I'd like to make another comment on that if I may. But the schools have to be cleaned and stuff like that. I mean, I know somebody that is a pastor, and he's going to reopen his church, but he's going to make sure that all the door handles and everything's clean in the church and ready. He's going to keep his parishioners, or whatever they are, call them, the members of his church, he's going to keep them 6 feet apart in the pews and stuff like that. And even if he has to preach on that day, he preaches. If he has to preach to them in groups, smaller groups, he's going to have them spread out and maybe have 2 or 3 services a day rather than just one. And this is what's going to happen in the schools too for a while. I think if they do go back in September, and we'll know when September comes whether that's feasible. But they can't just send 30, 35 kids to the same classroom, all sitting close together and everything like that. And, I think they're going to have to find a way, if schools do reopen, spreading them out and having them come in shifts to school rather than just one long school day, like Mike had mentioned, put the school hours back to, like he agreed with me. What do you think, Mike?
Well, I believe, getting back to the churches, I believe that they could have a full sermon if they would preach outside and stay social distance apart. I believe that would work. But as well as inside, no. Because then they're going to come down on them with fines and everything like this. The local authorities would. And
as long as it's not outside, right?
Well, if you stay social distance apart from each other, outside, and he set he or she, I should say, set a speaker up, it shouldn't be no problem at all. Carol, what do you think about that?
I just like the idea of having more information available before we move in any direction. I don't like the idea that we're sending children back to school as early as we're thinking that we should. I think that we need to take it slowly, really do our numbers.
Changing the topic for a minute, let me throw this out at you guys, okay? Let's say the children had the classes outside, okay? Social distancing apart. Now, they could do that and still have all their days and not miss any more days that they already did. Carol?
Okay, I feel that it's really too soon. We don't have enough facts and information available. We need to have more to go on before we make these decisions. And I don't know weather permitting as far as things being outdoors as opposed to being indoors. I don't really know that that's the way to prevent the syndrome that they're seeing with the children that they're coming down with as a complication of the original virus, the way that it's presented and having been exposed to it, if that's what it's going to take to prevent it from actually happening, where the inflammatory response goes throughout the body, affects all the organs, and they all shut down and the child dies. I feel that we need to wait.
I have a quick question for you. How many children have come down there with this sister virus, if you want to call it that, and which is even worse than the COVID-19? How many have, and they died from it? How many?
All right. There's only been 3 documented cases that we know of in one location. But the thing is that we haven't put the children together yet. We just know that it's something that's occurring. It's going to occur in greater number if we put them together. We don't have enough information to go on yet before we can make these decisions. We don't want to see more children die and lose their lives. We want to move very slowly when it comes to the children. And obviously it impacts our entire economy, because if the schools aren't open, the economy is not open, and I understand that, but we really need to take this in steps. And the second wave of the virus might be a lot worse than the first, and that's already happening in other locations where the virus affected them earlier than it did us here, and we're more than likely going to be looking to that too. So we have a lot of things to take into account here. I really need to take it slowly and examine what we're doing a little more closely.
Very well put. Excellent comeback. Ron?
Okay, we do have a few months to consider all of this. We do have a few months. So by the time September comes around, we'll have a lot more answers. Perhaps things won't be worse, and things might not be the same. They might be better by then, and then even if they're a lot better, I think we should proceed with caution anyway and do the smaller classrooms, fewer hours, things like that. We should take precautions. We've been through a lot with this thing, seeing how many people died. What do you think, Mike?
I agree with you 100% on that one. We don't know anything yet. We'll wait till September, see what the outcome is. It could be better. It could be worse. We just don't know at this point. Carol?
I think the idea of moving slowly so that we know what it is that we're walking into, with the most information available, to do the most intelligent thing that we can do under whatever circumstances we're in, is the best way for us to move. And not to just rush in to do anything, because we may find out that we're in worse turmoil than we think that we're in now. We need to examine what we're doing. That's the main thing.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Ron. Okay, for being on tonight again. And it's time to say goodbye. So, until we meet again, be safe, and may the good news always be yours. This is Mikey D. Good night.